The first one is probably the most used one, and that is Claude Code and Claude Cowork. I don't know if we're even using Claude Chat anymore. Everything is in Cowork or in Claude Code. What I would say that is that we haven't used Claude Code to the extent of what it can do, which is creating dashboards and creating reports. Claude Cowork to help us in compliance checks. We work with a lot of telehealth and health brands, and so they have a lot of checks and balances when it comes to what we can say and what we cannot. And Claude Cowork, obviously, because it's an AI, it's able to help us like immensely on that. The second thing is mining customer reviews and mining customer testimonials from Reddit, from other boards, and that could be a very, very manual work. We still do not use Claude to replace the writing portion of our briefs, and I'm very, very adamant on that for my creative strategists, because we still want to keep the humanness slash the human integrity of that creative. And what I've seen so far from other creative strategists that I've worked with in the past and also have let go is that they use Claude to, or AI in general, to do the writing for them and do the thinking. And so what ends up happening is a very generic or a very simplistic and detached creative, which kind of defeats the purpose of making an ad in the first place, because an ad is supposed to be an emotional thing or an educational thing that resonates with the audience. And the worst thing that you can do is make it as inhuman as possible. And so for production, we have Higgsfield and 11 Labs. I know I'm kind of a bit cheating here when it comes to these two. Higgsfield, we use it for the video and the photo portion, and then 11 Labs, we use it for generating the voiceover and also generating the sound for that video. And so just to give you an idea of what my team makes right now, like these are things that, you won't be able to make unless you have a studio in the past. But with Higgsfield, like we're just able to like crunch out, these types of videos for our clients without having to rent a studio or even shoot them. So it's just so valuable, and we do it for all our brands. What I would say though is that Higgsfield is a credit-based system, and so it can get expensive, but still with what we're paying right now for AI, even for like a $200 odd max subscription, I still think that is so cheap compared to the value that you get from it. And so with Higgsfield, it is great based in it. It's an aggregator of all the LLMs. So ChatGPT 2, VO 3.1, all those models, like you'd be able to get in Higgsfield instead of going to each platform separately and doing your subscription that way, because this you have the flexibility of having multiple LLMs to use and to test across each other. Like the samples that I've just showed you there are using different models. And so you can pick and choose which one you prefer for that specific shot or for that specific creative. And then from production, we then move on to analysis slash inspiration. So for inspiration, I love using Atria. You can search the brands that you want to, for example, if I want to look at iMate, you'd be able to see all the brands that they have here. It is kind of like foreplay. What I like about Atria is that if you click it, it has a feature to transcribe the script automatically for you. Now, also it says here, create similar scripts as an AI, but I wouldn't rely on this because so far, again, like if you rely on AI to make the creatives for you, it just becomes so generic. And at that point, like, what's the point? So I like the fact that it transcribes it for you automatically. So if you want to do some duplication of your competitor, you can use that. Or if you want to use it as an inspiration. There's also one thing here that I love, which is the AI generation tab here. So I love this app because it just generates examples for a creative. By the way, this is not prompted by me at all or by anyone. We just schedule it to create a variation of creatives every day at 8 a.m. And so this is not prompted, and so it's good for getting the inspiration out. And obviously, like, we wouldn't run these as creatives just because one is just too much at once and it doesn't really sell the feature or the benefit of that product, but it's good for for visual inspo. So from inspiration, we're now moving into iteration slash storage, which is my favorite. This is called Playbook, and let me show you what it looks like. And you're probably wondering, this is just a storage device or a storage platform. Why would it be any different than Google Drive or Dropbox? But how it differentiates itself is that searching here is also AI powered or AI based. So for example, like I'm searching park here and then filtering across my workspace or just within one brand. I can do it within one brand. Do is going to pull me everything that shows either a park or however that AI interprets what a park is. Could be, parking a car. So this is really, really useful for our video editors, for our static designers, and also for our strategists to put together either an existing asset and create new briefs out of it, or for our editors to find relevant b-rolls for specific shots. And if you've been advertising for the past year or more than that, then you probably have hundreds of assets already lying there. And if you put it in playbook, then you'd be able to find the right clip for the right shot. And it's just so valuable when you have multiple thousands and thousands of assets lying around. Plus, it's also not that expensive. Right now, it's I think like $30 for a seat, and that is just such a cheap price to pay for being able to reuse hundreds and thousands of clips that you've had in the past, because you've spent money to get those clips. You might as well get the best out of them. Okay, so yeah, that's really, really good for iteration and for storage as well. The research part of Gemini is probably one of the best that I've seen so far, better than ChatGPT. Deep research also better than Claude. The thing that sets it apart from the other models is that you can actually watch YouTube videos and also Google Drive. And so if you have a public Google Drive and you want Gemini to extract learnings from that, you can literally just link the view link to Gemini, and it'll be able to watch what's happening in the video. And that's just so valuable. And YouTube itself is also a huge repository of content and of information that most scrapers don't even find unless it's like in the YouTube description. My favorite right now is Manus. And what I would say, I've been using Manus even before they were acquired by Meta. But right now, because of the Meta integration, well, one, there's a lot of things happening with the Meta bands, I think, because they're integrating Manus, everything's just becoming so murky. We have ad accounts that are being banned, even though like it's fully compliant. But that's beside the point. You can connect it to your Meta, and you can either your own dashboard, or you can have a reporting system that sends you for us, like it sends every 9 a.m. a breakdown of the performance that has happened in the past 24 hours or the last 7 days for our brands. And as you like handle more campaigns, then it becomes really challenging to keep track of all of that. And Manus helps us be on top of the performance for different brands. And so yeah, we love Manus. The only downside to Manus, which could also be one of the upside, is that it is credit based, just like Higgsfield. It is not like Claude or ChatGPT, where you have a certain limit, and then if you hit that limit, you have to either wait or top it up. For Manus, it is only credit based, which means that if you hit your limit, then you would have to top it up. The good thing about that is it's faster than all the other apps because you're using credits. And so that's what I like about it, is for its speed. And also for some reason, the copywriting portion of Manus is also really, really good. I don't know why that is. Could be because it has access to a lot of Meta ads and is integrated with Meta, or maybe it's just because the model itself is just a little bit more powerful than Opus or the other LLMs. Now, I also get a lot of questions from my team and also other people why we're not using these AI platforms here. So you have Arcas, HeyGen, and ChatGPT. We'll go with ChatGPT first, which is the most popular. ChatGPT is falling behind in terms of the copywriting, which is a huge part of our briefing process. But the second thing, and what I would say, is that with ChatGPT agent, for some reason, it's just so slow to get any result. And if I have the option to go to ChatGPT and Manus, where I could get everything 5 times faster, why would I wait for ChatGPT, right? So I would only use Chat if it's like a very, very basic question. But at that point, you just use Claude. So yeah, waiting for ChatGPT to get an upgrade, because, for example, like GPT-2 image is really good, and I would say it's even much better than Nano Banana Pro. So I would say that they're probably cooking up something to play in the game again. But so far, by mid 2026, they have nothing yet. And then you have 2 AI generation models here, avatar generations, which is Arcats and HeyGen. There's also other platforms that do this. The only thing that we don't like using Arcats and HeyGen is because the models and also the quality of the footage that we're getting is just too AI. Some of our brands are catering towards very, very technologically literate people. So early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s. These are people that have seen thousands and thousands of AI and probably can spot one from a mile away. If they know that it's AI, then the brand usually also gets flack for being, for using AI instead of a person. So as it is right now, the models from HeyGen and Arcats are not at the level where we want it yet. That's why we just go back to using Higgsfield first. So we use a reference photo in Higgsfield and then create our avatar from there, and just generate the videos. And as a rule of thumb, if you guys want to use Arcats and HeyGen, feel free to do so. We've done so in the past, and we've gotten good results actually from the ads. But what I would say is that a huge tip here is don't just create AI ad from top to bottom. Make sure that you mix it with real people with real footage. For our agency, we're a little bit gung ho when it comes to the standard of our creatives, and so we don't use Arcas and Heygen. And yeah, that's it.